What's up, Fortress Dwellers? And what kind of world do we live in where I can't go shopping for organic vegetables and meats and I get into an altercation in Walmart over an insecure man, over an insecure beta? That's crazy. We're going to get into it, all of it coming up right now. What's up, guys? It's Manny Fitness. I can't even speak right. It's Manny's Fitness Fortress on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. The Citadel of Power. Guys, before we get into the video, I want to tell you guys about this company. Is probably going to end up being my sponsor soon. But Targo pre, intra, and post-workout recovery. All vegan, all barley. So powerful you might only be able to handle half a scoop. Incredible. Amazing source of natural glucose intake. The most powerful recovery drink on the planet. I'm not BSing. Finish a bottle, finish a whole container, do the monthly supply, and then you come back and tell me. All right. Let's get into this also. Subscribe, hit that like button, guys. Hit that notification bell, and hit the share button. I really appreciate you. So, I went to Walmart. I had an altercation while shopping for organic meats at Walmart. Came out for there on one of my days off. Just finished up at the gym, had a nice pump. Went in there, minding my own business. And it seems like ever since the injections, ever since the pandemic, nobody wants to speak to each other anymore. So a lot of times, just being a nice individual, I break the ice. Just like we all used to, you know, in the early 90s. People used to walk up and down the street and nod to each other and say, hey, and speak to each other. All people, men and women, not just bros. The bros still do it. Black guys, white guys, Asian guys, we do that, universal head nod. And usually Italian and African American men go beyond and say, what's up, bro? It's the bro nod. Everybody still does it. It's the females and the families and the more petite individuals that are afraid from all the media influx of this and that, and toxins and viruses and all that crap. But anyway, the bros still do it. I'm over in the meat section of Walmart. I want to get some Wagyu, grass-fed steak, grass-finished steak, bison or something like that, steak or ground beef. There is none. It was picked through. I came there at 11 at night and I saw no red fillets or no red filet mignon, no red porterhouse, New York strip, nothing red. Everything started to fade where it was like a brownish red where it's not fresh. All right, so I'm picking up this pack of meat. I step to my left and there's a lady, a woman, almost as tall as me. She's 5'10", 5'11", Asian descent. And I'm just trying to spark up conversation. She was by herself. I looked at the pack of meat. I said, this is crazy, not an ounce of red. She looked at me and then turned back and looked at her meat and ignored me. So I said, okay, maybe she's completely foreign and doesn't understand English. But she looked like she had that American/Asian mixture, So I said, out of respect, I said, all right, that's fine. I just kept on shopping and I kept on looking through the meats. So I go to put that pack of meat down. Here comes up this 5'7" or 5'5", he was even shorter than that, man that says, I guess it's a man, he's a beta male, says, yo, bro, that's disrespectful what you did. I said, excuse me? He said, it's okay, but that was disrespectful. What you did was disrespectful. And I said, what are you talking about? Being disrespectful how? I was just talking about. So then I deduced that he was probably her man. She was like 5'11", he was 5'5", 5'6", Napoleon complex. But I said, okay. I said, brother, what are you talking about? If this is your lady, I didn't know that. But all I said was, I was just looking at the meat and I was just, just making conversation about the meat. He said, you looked at her ass. I said, what? I said, how do you deduce that? I said, I wasn't looking at her ass. He said, yes, you were. You're looking at my girl's ass. I said, I put the pack of meat down. I was talking to her about the discoloration of the meat, and I was not looking at your girl's ass. He said, yes, you were. I said, dude, I was not looking at her ass. Your girlfriend doesn't even have an ass. And then all of a sudden, the no-talking Asian woman, tall, mute Asian woman, suddenly, miraculously can speak English.
Oh, so how do you know? How do you know? How do you know I don't have an ass unless you are looking at it?
Are you kidding me? I said, I'm only responding to his statement. I said, I was not looking at your ass. I said, you have no ass. Then I just got so frustrated. I just blurted it out. I blurt out truth. I blurt out truth. When people get me frustrated, when they try to test me, I blurt out truth. I said, you don't have an ass. He said, oh, now you're gonna go there. Now you really didn't. I said, hey, you brought this on. You know, she's tall, she's thin, she don't have an ass. When I turned to put the pack of meat down, I turned left and her back was to me, and I turned to go all the way around her. I said, nobody was looking at her ass. I was looking at her height, you know, just she backed up into my line of vision, my field of vision. I said, trust me, you know, I got her, I've had girls, friends in the past. I have a lady in my life. I said, and she has an ass. I said, your girlfriend, you don't have an ass. He says, oh, see, you want to be disrespectful? That's fine. Just keep on going with it. I said, dude, how you going to tell me what I was doing? Just because my eyes scanned past a human being onto the floor or try to go around them doesn't mean I was targeting on something that you think I was. I said, I was not looking at your woman's ass. And he was not timid, but he wasn't aggressive either. He just kept on pressing the point. And I said, you know what, to myself, I said, let me just walk away. I had to keep shopping for meats, but I said, I'm gonna just go down here with the eggs and all that other stuff, and I'll come back to the future situation. Because you're talking about a 240-pound bodybuilder, me, trying to engage in conversation, intelligent conversation with this Napoleon complex having little, you know, I don't know, beta specimen. You know, definitely was no alpha. Because he had he had insecure written across his shoulder, across his forehead. I never seen a man. Now, if the thing is, that has happened before on a beach or in a club, where, you know, guys may scan a woman and just look down, and they'll go up to him and say, are you single or something like that? And the guy will come up and say, yo, bro, this is my lady. And most bros say, oh, no problem, no disrespect. And the bro will be like, all right, no problem. But I sincerely was not looking at this woman's bone butt. She had no ass. So I said, I came here for organic shopping. And instead, I am subject and victim to organic beta male syndrome, beta male insecurity, beta male, Napoleon complex syndrome. This is crazy. And it was absurd. It was very bizarre, because she was legitimately 5'11", and he was like 5'5", scrunched over a shopping cart. That's the thing too. He was pushing the shopping cart. It was almost like she was wearing the masculine, she was filling the masculine role, even though she wasn't masculine. But it was amazing how that dynamic works. And I said, the times we're living in, is this what 2025 has come to? It was crazy. So I went down, left the meats, went and got some pasture-raised eggs. I went and got some water, alkaline water, and a couple other healthy food items, some fruit, produce. And I came back about 15 minutes later when I knew they would be gone. Because the dude was about 145 pounds wet and dry, and I didn't want to get involved in nothing where they called the cops or this stuff over something I didn't do. Came back, and I actually found, that's why, it pays to be a humble and a very legitimate and a very honorable human being. I actually found a porterhouse or a New York strip steak that was bright red, fresh, after I came back. So that means I was supposed to come back at that time anyway. You see how things worked out? So maybe there was a symbolism with me walking over there at that time with that toxic energy, with the toxic meats that I was in front of. And I didn't get into the space or, become aware or surround myself or be able to receive, or find, accumulate fresh, organic, ideal meat until I put myself in the right environment. So I had to get out of that toxic environment and then come back when the waves had calmed. So there's a little bit of symbolism there. But anyway, I came back and I found that porterhouse that was it? No, it was New York strip. I was like, awesome. Then I went on my way to check out, and it was amazing. I ended up giving one of the cashiers my business card, two of them, a security guard, and a girl who worked at the cashier too. So it's amazing how God works. And then for those of you who are probably wondering, you see me put up some posts here and there that have some like Christian, some type of connotations or religious. I am a Christian. I always have been. And it doesn't mean that you have to roll over and let people disrespect you. I still speak up for myself, even as a Christian. But that's the weirdest altercation I ever had in a supermarket or a grocery store at all. Yeah, it was kind of funny, but it was bizarre at the same time. But ended up having three fantastic things happen. I got the freshest meat that was left, the one last fresh piece of meat that was left. Ended up networking with three individuals, and got some YouTube content. Can't be mad at that. So I want to thank you guys for watching. I'm going to put stuff on this, stuff like this on my channel every now and then. Some life stories, true life stories. And this happened. This is what is this? Friday the 22nd? Is it 23rd? This happened this week, May 24th, 2025. Yesterday. So yes, but that's what happened, and it's just, I guess it comes with the territory. That type of venue and that type of food is what I'm usually buying and purchasing and putting in my body. So I had the opportunity to actually educate some people, after that debacle, and all worked out. But I want to thank you guys for watching. Please stay tuned, hit the subscribe button, and please hit the notification button that says personalized or custom, all right? Because YouTube still has that glitch where they turn off notifications when other people subscribe. It's ridiculous. But I appreciate you guys. Let me know in the comments what you want me to do next. I got a banger garage workout video coming out. I got a banger wellness video for women's hair and skin. And I got a lot more cooking and smoothie content. Appreciate you guys. I'll see you in the next video. Booyah! Ready.